Hello, people of the internet. Yesterday, we took a look at this issue which was happening when Copper CLI was called with the new API token subcommand, but without specifying the dash dash config. It was tracebacking in that situation, and we fixed that. We submitted this pull request together. So it was a very simple pull request. We basically just figured out the default path, and if no config was specified, we basically modified config in that default config path. It was very simple. But there was one related issue in this, and we didn't have time to look at that one yet. So that's our job for today. So the token has an expiration date of course, and we put that into the config using this command #expiration date, and when the new API token command is used, we don't update this properly. So we can try to reproduce that issue first. That would be probably a good idea. So let's work against our local development instance so that we can leak any tokens we want. If I scroll down and go to API, you can see this is this is where the token for the CLI is taken from, right? So you are on the Copper website, you go to API, and you take this token, or this config rather, containing this token. And here is our expiration date string or comment. So if I open my config, remember this is changed from yesterday to localhost, so we can leak that as well. So I can basically take this, put it here, and my Copper CLI will now start working, right? I can create projects and submit builds and so on. Let me clear the screen. So yeah, you can see the expiration date is here, and it is this date. Let me maybe cat that so that we have that in, so we have it in the history and we can compare. Now let's do the Python. Yeah, so basically we'll call Copper CLI from Git, so that we can see our changes in the code immediately. And we are passing, yeah, we don't want to pass that, but we can, it doesn't really matter in this situation. But let's use the default config, and let's say new API token. We'll do that. Our config was updated, and if we cat that again, the expiration date is here, but it didn't change, right? It didn't change. And if I refresh this website, I think it will be maybe 15 here. Yep, 15, because that one that we had was generated yesterday. So naturally, if I generate a new one today, it will last one day longer. So yeah, it's as expected. We just don't update the expiration date string here. So we reproduced that one, but it is a bit more complicated because we have two ways of generating, or rather updating the config file. And it is dependent on, I don't remember the name of the library, but let's take a look. let's see, new API token. And yeah, we call this update config here. And here are the two ways that I mentioned. So if config updater, we do something. If not, then we do something else. So what the hell is config updater? We discovered that yesterday. I didn't remember, but yeah, I have it in my fresh memory. We did that yesterday. So if I jump to, maybe rather search it. So from config updater, we import config updater. And if we cannot, then we define it to none. So why do we do that? I think config updater is maybe not available in all distributions that Copper CLI runs on. We can take a look maybe. But that's not important right now. So basically, we have a situation when this can be imported and situation when this can't be. And our code will behave differently based on that. Now, I think when I ran it here, we were in this path. And I will explain you why, but we can first take a look if that's true. So if I run it again, yep, we got to the debugger, so we are most certainly in this path. And why? Why is that? So if we use the config updater, it is smart. So it basically just updates the values that we say. So somehow we have the data here, which will probably contain, not probably, most certainly contains only the login and token and their values. So basically the config updater says, hey, I'm updating these two lines and not touching anything else. Therefore, the command with the expiration date remains unchanged. But there is a different path, which is a fallback when the config updater is not available. And we basically update the data in a dictionary in our code and then replace the whole file with the new config. So it will break every formatting that was in the config previously, and it will remove the expiration date comment entirely. We can try to reproduce that. So config updater. So it will probably be on my system installed by config updater. So I mean dnf info python 3 config updater, something like this. Yep, installed packages, right? So we can dnf remove this package and see what will happen. Yep, I can do it. I was a bit worried that there are some dependencies and I would break my system, but no. And if we run it again, yeah, because what happened? I'm not sure what happened here. Whatever. Let's. Oh yes, yes. We put the debugger there, and we didn't dump the new config. That was the reason. So okay, no new bug. So now if we do this, was updated. If we take a look, or if we get it, see, the expiration date is not here, and also these are in completely different order than they used to be. So it's username token, username login token, and username login token, right? They are in completely different order. So it like this fallback completely breaks whatever was there in the config and just dumps a new data. And we need to make sure to fix the expiration date in both of these scenarios. Now I'm not sure if we will write a specific code for both of those, like separately, or if we write a new code here, which will be the same for both of these situations. I'm not sure yet. I want to take a look at the config updater, how it works, and if it can change comments. Actually, I doubt that very much, but it would be like a first check to do for me. So let's do this. Maybe let's put the agent shell on the right side. So I'm using, I don't want to read the docs though, so I'm using, let's do this. Can it update comments in the config? I don't think so, but we could be surprised. It preserves comments. Yes, that's amazing, and that's exactly the reason why we use that. Okay. But honestly, what are you to change your comment? So see the code for block has other block key. What? Let's do this. I have this command in my code, in my config, and I want to update the date there. I mean, there is no way it works, right? Yep, it just wants to read the docs. That's fine by me. Iterates over, and you can modify commands by directly changing their value property. Really? However, this is not that helpful because we need to because this is basically what we will do for this situation, basically, but a little bit different, right? Here we are basically going to do something like with how do we call it? With open what path for reading and writing, right? As fp, and then if we chose the same approach that is done here, we would basically go for a line in FP read lines, right? And then if a line starts with, and here will be the expiration date, then we will do something, right? If we put a breakpoint here just so that we can at least somehow test this. We don't have the expiration date now, so let's edit this and let's put a new one here. Right, so if we do this, okay, let's do read only. No, then okay, I will not cry. So once again, you know what, let's install the package back again, so that we can first deal with the easier one. Remove, so we'll do install. Oh yes, okay. You didn't see that. So once again, now we are in the breakpoint. This is this one. How our lines look like. Line, next, line. Oh yes, of course, because we already broke it here. Now we will get to this breakpoint actually. So let me do this breakpoint. I mean, let's kill this. Let's get rid of this breakpoint. It will work now. Yeah. So see, the line is here. Now we could fix that. So let's do it a bit differently. Can you give me regex to update the date in a file on my system? It's a dumb question because regex doesn't work with files, and right, but it will get it. So it wants to open it, it wants to change it and then dump it. That's fine, that's what we need to do. But what if the line is not there? Return unchanged, no error. I need to add the line if it is not there. So basically something what would Ansible do, for example. So okay, this looks quite nice. Now, why do we have this? Why do we have this? I just want one value there. No, that's incorrect. No, I mean treat, no, the previous code, but treat as one value, not three. Yep, I think this is it. This is it, right? So we can do something like that. That would be nice. So we can borrow this, and this will work for both situations. That's why I wanted to do it that way. So we need to import this. Oh, we already have that. Okay. Now this was just an experiment. We don't need that. Now config.ini is of course our path, and we will open it for reading, and we will name it fp like a gentleman. Same here, fp, and here it is going to be path for writing, right? Now, what is our, yeah, that's, for some reason, I have two spaces here, which causes indentation problems in my code. I need to fix that. So that's okay now. And we need to do something about our rejects here. That's the previous version. We want this simpler one, right? And we want also the count and the same indentation problem. Let's remove this and then, oops, and then put it where it should be, which is here. Yeah, which is here. Same indentation problem, right? So finally, this looks reasonable now. Now, expiration. Expiration date. And whatever thing is there. How should I read S plus? Whatever string, I think. One or more non-white space characters. Yeah. Actually, could be anything. So I think we can put dot star, I think. I want to match anything there. So dot plus matches one or more any except new line. Why not? I think I want this. So maybe let's comment this one out for if we are wrong here, but I think we can do this. And I'm not sure why this is in brackets. Why is it in brackets? I mean, it is a lot of questions for AI. I just cannot be bothered to learn regexes properly. So we can reference it in the replacement. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So basically, so we can change only that one string. You know what? Let's play it very, very dumb here. And do it this way. So we will match anything, and let's do it even this way. The space that doesn't have, let's put it there. And so we will not do the match group. We will, like dumbasses, do basically just the whole new string. What about that? Is that okay? That could work. That could work, maybe. The thing is, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it that way. The thing is, do we have that even, that value? So expiration date. Is it a part of, like, is it a part of this result? Let's put a debugger here. Let's continue with this new one. So pp result. So here is our new login token, and that's it. The problem is there is no expiration. We will need to update the Copper frontend as well. Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that. So what we are going to do is we are going to find our Copper frontend code. So API general, I think maybe it is going to be here. Token. Let's find token. Yep, that's the one. That was a quick find. And you can see this is our API endpoint, and it returns just these two values. Now, can I simply add something here? Do we have some documentation for this string? I mean this response? Not sure. Let's take a look at the API documentation. General API token. It doesn't mention any models, right? It's just so I think it's not ideal here. Responses. So I don't know, package. Yeah. For some objects, we have a proper documentation of what is being returned and what model is that. We don't have that for this endpoint. It seems I don't want to change that right now. I don't really care. We want to add a new field. That's it. So let's do expiration here. Expiration, which is going to be some to do for a moment. We will need to figure that one out. So if we go here, restart the server so we can get to the debugger, and we'll ask for a new, and we messed up because of course we killed the process in between and then our token wasn't updated. So let's try again. Then we triggered this endpoint on the server, and what do we have here? Why is this called user? Is that actually user? pp user. It's user actually. Cool. And do API. Yep, we have API token expiration. Token expiration, which is a datetime. That's perfect. So we will take this and put user API token expiration here. Will this be automatically converted to some reasonable on-wire transferable format? I'm not sure. Let's kill this. Which maybe did break our config, maybe not. Oh yes, it did. Again. Jesus. So new one, ask for a new one, and we got here. Do we need to debug anything here? I don't think so. We want to go next. Okay, so expiration was not serializable, which means now we need to decide whether we want to convert it to the Unix timestamp, which is a floating point number, or if we want to convert it to the string, which is some universal date format, which is like string saying year, month, day, and something. I'm not sure which one we use normally for our date times here. So if we take a look at, for example, build, that's not useful. Or maybe a project model. So is there something like created at? No, it is not. What about truth? Build truth model. Yep, check this out. So started on is an integer. So this is a Unix timestamp probably, but weird. Shouldn't it be a float? So is this a Unix timestamp? Yeah, but that makes sense. Kind of weird that it is not a float. Maybe it's just the example of value is this way. Not sure. Anyway, we are returning Unix timestamps. So let's go with that. So there is some method for that, I'm sure. I just don't remember. So new token. What is happening? We must have some bug in the client code now, since I have to do this every time. Anyway, let's go here. So pp it is this, right? And it should have some 2 or Unix. No. So there is from timestamp. How do I convert datetime to Unix timestamp? There is the method for that. There is timestamp? No way. Timestamp. See, there is not. Okay, because this is a date. Oh, that was the reason I didn't find it there, because I was looking for timestamp, right? We have like tab completed to this. So what about date object? Not date time. So we could do that, but that's just annoying. What if we send what if we send the string actually? What if we are just what if we send just this? I think that's better, actually. So let's try that. Maybe there will be some discussion about this in the pull request comment section. That's fine, but I think this is better than doing some magic with time zones and stuff. So this shouldn't be here. Let's start the server again. Now we will need to update. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's take a new one. Finally. And if we take a look at the config, the expiration date. And now I don't know if it is being updated or not, because we have the current, like, we have it generated today, right? Oh, it's being hard-coded, and then it's simple. We need to put the expiration there. So we will do we probably can't do expiration like this, because of course taking it here, right, we cannot do this because we need Copper CLI to run on very old Python versions, which I don't think have the F formatting. In what Python version the F strings were introduced? 3.6. That's pretty recent. What Python? I mean, pretty old. What Python version is in rel 8? Okay. And I think we don't have to run on older systems, actually. But I don't think we used that, we used F strings just yet, because we, like, rel 8 is the oldest supported version, but I think we are still kind of trying to support even unsupported rel versions, so I don't think we use f-strings yet. Can git grep. Let's do it this way and do f this. That matches in server code, but probably will not match in CLI code. That's the one we just did. Actually, we started using it, it seems. That is the new endpoint as well. That is here probably. Yeah, it's here, but that's the new endpoint as well. Anyway, okay, let's start using them. Let's start using them. Why not? So we will do this. We will get rid of this nonsense. Now we are taking expiration here, so we need to pass it here, right? So it will be expiration. Now that variable doesn't exist, it is a part of the result. And we are not passing it in the data here because we want to iterate over everything here. So this is a separate thing. We need to pass it separately. Now we also need to fix this line, right? So we need to put the expiration here. Is this the simplest way of doing it? I'm not sure. Let's at least see if it works, and then we will think about it more. So we will run this. Okay, it works. If we open, we have, let's do it this way. Let's do cat on this. Wait, let's do, I don't know, 06 here, for example, and cat it. So we have this, and if we run the new config and cat it, it changed. So we are updating the line. That's progress. Cool. And if we simulate the situation when the line doesn't exist because it was the config was generated with the different path in our code, and we run this, and then we cat the file, the expiration is here. Good. The order of things changed, but still the last line is expiration date, and it is correct. So this code works. This code works. Do we see any problems with that? Except it is too long. So we could do it a little differently, I think. If we don't do the count here, you know what? Let's save this as work in progress so that we can get back to it if we mess up, right? But we don't have to do this because this happens every time in this path, and we already have it opened here for writing, and we already are writing the FP here. So we can probably just fp write the expiration here, right? So we can probably do this, right? There is some problem with missing quote. Now it should work actually. We cannot simulate it the way we did by removing the line because we need to trigger this whole path, but I think this will work actually. And that would mean we can actually put this code here, probably, right? What happened? So we can put it here. So let's remove the code from here. Now this is very easy, the fallback, and this is more complicated. That's interesting. But even though it is more complicated, we want that because this doesn't mess with the other values and formatting and such as we discussed previously. So I know we should read this is too annoying. I actually don't know, I've never done that probably, but can we open file for both reading and writing and then replace it from the beginning? Can I open a file for reading and writing at the same time? Yep, we will do that seek exactly. So it will be a little bit prettier, I think, if we indent this and then we remove this. R plus is actually reading and writing. What if we don't specify any mode and do just this? Now, if we read, now we fp seek on the first byte, that makes sense, and the truncate is important. The new content is shorter, can remain at the end. fp truncate. Okay. I mean, it is still better than the previous version, right? If we try to do it again, operation is not right. Okay, so we really need that R plus. Really? R plus is reading, writing. R plus is reading and writing. Not RW. We know RW doesn't work because we tested that, but read only, write, append, read, write. Write and read truncates. So why not W plus? immediately when you open it. Oh, okay then. Okay then. Okay. So this works, and we know we are updating. Do we know that? Let's make this one outdated and run it again. Yep, it is updated. Cool. So we know this code works, and we should probably still try the other path, which is this. But this, yeah, which is this. We need to trigger that. So dnf remove sudo dnf remove the config updater. Yes. And let's run the new token, and exactly yeah, sure, because it is this, right? So it should work. If we take a look, there is this new line for some reason. So I suppose there should be can I not insert a new line when doing fp write config write when doing, what is config parser, config write into a file. Okay, that's okay. So what if I do fp write config? Is it worth it? Is it worth it actually? By the way, previously it didn't insert the line. So what were we doing? We added to the content. Interesting. So I want to do an experiment here, which is going to be, can we do fp write config actually? If we run this, must be str not config parser. Oh, come on. Now it will fail. Yeah, now it fails because this is empty. So let's create a new one and run this again. So I wanted to take a look at config. Yeah, that's config parser. Can we just stir it? We cannot. So can we config dump? Okay, we cannot do anything with that. So config to string. I don't think I have seen that there. To string. Yep. So okay. Let's probably keep the blank line there. Although in tests we would have to have two separate assumptions that can we configure write section or something like that? Oh, that's underscore thing. Config update sections, remove section, read file. It's interesting. It cannot dump the can config parser dump the string to the out. And to a string, we need to create a string buffer, probably. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So okay, so let's try that. Let's try that. So we will do the import IO, do this. We will write it into the buffer, and now get the value. It has the new line. Two new lines. See? One here, one here. So we will basically have to rstrip this, and maybe just once. There is no limit for rstrip. Can I limit rstrip to just once? Remove suffix. That's too new. There is also trim, I think. Python string functions. Replace find index split rstrip. Because when we do this, right, it removes both of them. We can do that and then just add. Yeah, we'll probably do that. Let's find rstrip. Rstrip. It really doesn't. That's weird. I know that's something that maybe, oh, that's maybe split. I may be confusing it with right split. See, it has max split. But the split strip, rstrip, where is it? Here. Yeah, it doesn't have it. It doesn't have it. Okay. Okay, you know what? We are going to, if we rstrip here, then we can basically add this, right? But we will complicate the code. We will complicate the code with this nonsense. We will do this, right? String IO. Buff, that's... Can we do just... let's do buffer. Let's do buffer right into buffer, and then result will be buffer get the value rstrip, and then hack to remove a new line after new line between a blank line. Between section and comment. Let's do it this way, maybe. Hack to remove blank line between section, config section and command. Now we have the result, and we want to FP write the result, right? And we don't need the variable for that. We can simply do it like this. We don't need this anymore, and the import should be on a better place, so we'll put it there. So I think we can have the code like this. Let's continue. This will fail, so our token is probably, yeah, broken. Let's add a new one there. Oops. So if we run it again, it is reordered, but it is here. Right? So if we change it, which doesn't really matter, it will be here. Yep, it is updated, and yeah, it was generated by this section. So I think this is okay. We can commit that. Now, it would be a good idea to add tests for it, but since we are hour in, I'm going to end the episode. But let's take a look at what is the test situation, and then we are going to cut it off. I'm not going to write them in this episode. So let's find test main. or test CLI here. Now, it seems we have quite a lot of CLI tests. That's good. But we definitely don't have any tests for the token. So, test list project. This is testing some error, but besides that, we don't have any setup method which sets up some default token. Yeah, we don't have absolutely zero. We have zero tests for this subcommand. Yeah, we should add them definitely, but we are not going to do that in this episode. So, but at least we prepared our code in a way that it produces. And now that I think about it, it was not necessary to do this because we reorder the items anyway, the lines. But we can convert it. We can convert this data into an order dict and put them in the correct order there, and then I'm not sure if we can do the ordering right here, and I need to pee very much, so I need to run off. I don't know if we can do the ordering right here, but we can definitely do the ordering somewhere and then dump them every time in the correct order. That would be good. That would be very good actually. And then we could test the output is every time the same. We will just mock different parts so that we trigger either this or this, but we can definitely have the same output every time. Anyway, that's it. I'm going out right now, and we thank you all for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.